Manny Machado is not happy with how the 2023 season is going for the Padres, and he took it out on some coolers in the dugout. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he might have just ended the career of Noah Syndergaard. He was just DFA'd by Cleveland. Cody Bellinger, he had 5 RBIs in a game for the first time in a few years, and we had some major tension in the Yankees and Rays game, like not the good kind of tension. Now, before we talk about all of the big league games from yesterday, a quick recap of the Little League World Series. There was a walk-off home run courtesy of Louis Lappy, I think that's how you say his name. He walks it off for Team California. A quick little round of applause. Look at them go. The first game that we're going to talk about today, it's a game that doesn't really matter because both teams are basically out, but hey, a tip of the cap to Griffin Canning and David Peterson. Peterson, he held the Halos to 1 run over 7 innings, and he struck out 8, while Griffin Canning, he struck out 9 over 7 innings. They both allowed just 1 run on the day, so whose bullpen is going to step up? Luis Rengifo, he popped one out to give LA their first lead of the game when Pete Alonso, he tied it on a double. Pete Alonso has 96 RBIs despite missing a chunk of games, and there's the walk-off right there. Rafael Ortega, he wins it. The Angels, they're now 10.5 games back of a wild card spot. The Mets are 9 games back. There's 31 games left in the 2023 season. Do they have a chance? Let me know. So this next game has some major playoff complications. If Texas loses this game and Seattle wins, we'll talk about the Mariners game after this. The Rangers, they'll lose first place. Now, I didn't know Jonah Heim was back in the lineup, but this guy, he don't miss. Heim, he's straight up insane at baseball. He has 15 home runs and 74 RBIs after missing 29 games. There's a grand slam. Minnesota, they're probably going to chalk this up to an L. There's no way they get back. No. Royce Lewis with the grand slam of his own. This kid is now hitting .310 with 9 home runs in his first 49 big league games. Minnesota, they're still down by 1, but they're facing closing pitcher Aroldis Chapman, and closing pitcher Chapman is different than relief pitcher Chapman. They are 2 completely different dudes, so of course he's going to blow it as a closing pitcher. Solano, he ties it at 5-5, so free baseball it is. We skip to the 12th where Texas, they got 1 on a Corey Seager sac fly, but Minnesota, they immediately tied it. The bases are juiced for Michael A. Taylor, who is all-time bad when it comes to taking walks. So of course it's going to end on a walk. So now if the Mariners beat the lowly Royals, Seattle will have sole possession in the AL West for the first time since 2003. I was 7 years old. That team was led by Ichiro, Edgar Martinez, Brett Boone. This team can be just as good in my opinion. I know that might sound crazy and blasphemous, but the second half Mariners are not to be messed with. Teoscar, he is scathing hot right now. He has 3 home runs and 7 RBIs over his last 2 games. J-Rod, he has a home run in back-to-back games as well. J-Rod is hitting .282 with 23 home runs, 35 stolen bases. He is one of 8 players ever to have 50 home runs, 60 stolen bases, and 11 WAR by the time they're 22 years old. He is already on a Hall of Fame pace, and if Luis Castillo keeps this up, maybe he can make some Hall of Fame noise as well. He's easily top 10 nastiest starting pitchers of my lifetime, like pure stuff. A 98 sinker with a devastating slider and changeup mix, 7 shutout innings, 6 punchies. He only allowed 1 base hit. He is a perfect fit for the Mariners, but as soon as he left the game, Kansas City, they made it interesting. Nelson Velasquez, he's been an auto home run cheat code for the Royals, 5 home runs in 14 games. Now, luckily for Mariners fans, Andres Munoz, he struck out 3. He has 10 saves on the season now, so yes, the Mariners, they're in first place. Just the only problem with that is the Astros can basically smell that September is coming, and they locked in. Houston scored, wait for it, 17 runs. Kyle Tucker blasted off for the 26th time this year. His 97 RBIs are most in the American League. Justin Verlander, he struck out 7 over 5 shutouts, so that is back-to-back shutouts from JV. He has a 2.29 ERA all-time as an Astro. I think he's still going to go in as a Tiger, but I mean, he's been so good as a Houston Astro. They might win another World Series this year. Later on in the game, Houston turned on the aimbot again with home runs from Mauricio Dubon, Martin Maldonado, and then it didn't stop. Jeremy Pena, he's having a pretty tough season if you ask me, so that base-clearing triple has to feel really good. He had 5 base hits in this game. He has no home runs in August, but he's hitting .333 with 13 walks in 24 games, so he has way better plate discipline right now. Yainer Diaz, this kid flat out rakes 425 feet for his 19th home run as a rookie catcher. Now, I do want to show this 3-run home run from Miggy because it could be his last home run. Who knows? That's just his 3rd home run in 77 games. But like I mentioned, though, the Astros, they ended up with 17 runs after positional players came in. The Astros, as always, are looking absolutely lethal going into the final month of the season. We know the Astros and the Dodgers have a ton of history, so let's see what Mookie Betts and the Doyers did down in Fenway. The winner of this game is going to win the series, and James Outman, he came out swinging. He has 16 home runs and a a 355 on base percentage as a rookie, and that's a tearjerker right there. If you're a Red Sox fan, I mean, so many monster home runs for Mookie Betts over the monster when he was a member of the Red Sox. Outman and Mookie Betts, they teamed up again in the 8th inning. They both drive in their third RBIs on some singles. Mookie, he's having the best month of his entire career. He's hitting 465 with 8 home runs and 25 RBIs with still a few days left. He has a 1328 OPS. I do want to show this home run from Justin Turner. He has a home run back-to-back games. He has 22 home runs, 85 RBIs, and a 130 OPS plus as a 38-year-old. That is insane. Evan Phillips, he now has 21 saves on the season. So LA, they do win the series. And I do want to mention that Freddie Freeman, he had 3 base hits. He's now hitting 341. Who's the NL MVP right now? Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna Jr., or Freddie Freeman? It's a 3-way race right now. Now, I'm not saying this was a statement game, but the Cubs showed just how versatile they can be. They were facing off against the Pirates. Bellinger, he singled home Nico Horner in the first, and the Candyman Candelario blasted off for a 2-run home run in the 4th inning. He's hitting 305 with 12 RBIs in his first 23 games as a member of the Cubs. Bellinger ended up with 2 more RBIs after a double in the 5th, but he wasn't done with RBI doubles. Stay tuned for that. Now, I guess before we get into that, the tip of the cap goes to Javier Assad, who delivered 7 strong frames of 3-hit baseball. He struck out 7 as well. He lowers his ERA to 2.96, so under 3. He's a rookie, by the way. Cody Bellinger drove in his final 2 RBIs on a double in the 9th inning, so that marks his first 5 RBI game in 2 years. Belly is hitting 321 with 20 home runs, 75 RBIs, 18 stolen bases, and 7 outs above average. This guy is going to get so much money in the offseason. I'm so excited for him. Now we got to find the Brewers and the Reds games because Milwaukee is going for their 8th win in a row, but we'll save that for after this Reds and Diamondbacks game, mainly because Arizona, they're also on fire, and the Reds are trying desperately to stay in playoff contention. Ketel Marte, he gave his rookie starting pitcher Slade Cinconi a lead on a double, and Corbin, he's going to extend it on this inside the park home run. He was flying around the bases, and if he's not careful, he might open a portal to another multiverse. He's running that fast, but the Reds, they have Elly De La Cruz, 99.7 miles an hour to the dish. He nabs Corbin Carroll. He keeps it at 1-0. Cincinnati, they ended up tying it on a sac fly. That was Slade Cinconi's only run on the day. He went 5 2/3, only allowed 3 base hits. He struck out 5, but look who clutched up. Rookie Noelvi Marte. He has 3 doubles and 4 stolen bases in his first 8 games. So the Reds have another power speed threat. The Diamondbacks, they're down by 1. Scratch that. Lourdes Gurriel, he ties it on a long home run, his 20th home run of the season. Corbin, he got on in the 8th inning and then stole his 40th bag of the year. He's the first rookie since Mike Trout to have a 20 home run, 40 stolen base season. Corbin ended up scoring on a sac fly from Evan Longoria. Alec Thomas, he put the cherry on top for Arizona's 5th run, and Ryan Thompson, the former pretty good relief pitcher for the Rays, he closed it out for the Diamondbacks, and yeah, the Diamondbacks win 5-2. So the Reds fall even further down the NL Central standings, and it might not get much better because Milwaukee, they just cannot lose right now. William Contreras, a mammoth home run, 450 feet, but yes, the Padres, they did jump Freddie Peralta for 4 runs before the second came to a close, but Milwaukee, they ended up jumping Michael Wacha, which is not easy to do. For the first time in 2.5-3 months, Michael Wacha, he was tagged for more than 3 runs. Rowdy Tellez, he tied it on a 2-run double in the 6th inning, and Milwaukee, they kept the scoring going. There's a base little walk for Carlos Santana. There's a huge 2-run double for rookie Sal Frelick, who has 19 RBIs in his first 28 games. Mark Canha, he's been an RBI machine as well. His 2-run single gives him 12 RBIs in 22 games. Contreras, he made it a 10 spot, and by the way, can I just mention William Contreras is a catcher hitting 280 with 31 doubles, 14 home runs, and an almost 125 OPS plus. The Brewers, they won 8 games in a row. Now, I do want to show this clip. Manny Machado, he was taking out his frustrations on a cooler. The Padres, they're now tied with the Nationals at 61-70, and the Padres, they're 8 games back of a wild card spot. And honestly, I don't know if there's enough time to course correct and save their season. It might be over. Brandon Lau had a huge day versus the Yankees, and he even embarrassed the Yankees post-game, but we'll get there in just a second. Brandon Lau, he went 435 feet. He has 17 home runs on the season, even though he's missed 44 games. Now, the Yankees did claw their way back into it. DJ LeMahieu, he won't stop using the power button. He has 4 home runs in his last 5 games, and look at what Volpe did. He did some damage as well. He has 18 home runs, 20 stolen bases, and 3 outs above average. He's getting better and better. Now, the Rays, they're not going to go down that easy. Hard-hitting Harold Ramirez, he ties it up. His 2-run single sets up another 2-run single, and of course, it's Brandon Lau again. Lau wasn't done with the RBIs, but I do have to show where the tempers ended up flaring. Randy, he was hit by a pitch. He almost threw the bat. He was not happy. He then stole second. He then stole third base, and he was still not happy. He was chirping at Abreu. Benches had to clear. Nothing really happened. It was just a lot of jawing. Brandon Lau, he finished it off with a double, his 4th RBI of the game. Jason Adam, he has 12 saves. And then in a post-game interview, Brandon Lau, he teed off on the last place Yankees.
Obviously, tempers flare. The history that we do have with the Yankees, everything that's kind of come through. Obviously, probably does play a part in it, but looking at it, it's a last place team against a team that's in contention. You know, there's trying to ignite something over there, whatever. Not worth our time at this moment. You know, we're focused on bigger things right now than worrying about a little on-field scuffle. You know, we need each game. They're not really in each game.
Jorge Soler might hit 50 home runs if he keeps up this pace, and he doesn't hit cheapies either. 40 years from now, when my grandkids ask who are some of the most powerful hitters I ever saw, Kyle Schwarber, who also went yard, do not go anywhere, Pete Alonso, Matt Olson, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, and yeah, Soler, he's going to be in that conversation. His 35th home run put the Marlins up by 1, and then the Marlins pitching staff took over from there. No David Robertson, by the way, he was removed from the closing role after blowing another save a few days ago. Tanner Scott, he was given the opportunity, and he nailed it down. The Marlins, they beat the streaking Nationals 2-1. So the Marlins are trying to catch up to the Giants in the wild card race, but because we just brought up Schwarber, we got to show the Cardinals and the Phillies. 440 feet for Schwarber. He has 36 home runs, and finally Aaron Nola dialed in for a full 7 innings. This was 2018 Nola all over again. 7 shutout, 9 strikeouts, only 2 base runners allowed over 7 innings. That is when Aaron Nola is at his best, when he's striking guys out and not allowing base runners. Obviously, that's when every pitcher is at their best. Now, this masterclass came a day after Zach Wheeler went 7 innings, only allowed, I think, 1 run as well, and he struck out 10 Cardinals. Craig Kimbrell, he notched his 20th save of the year. How dangerous are the Phillies? That's an easy answer. Very. All right, we're going to move on to the Braves and the Giants game. J.D. Davis, he singled in 1, and then Casey Schmidt, my goodness, he's averaging 430 feet per home run. I mean, he's only hit 3, but that's still pretty impressive nonetheless. The Braves, they stole the lead in the 5th inning because Nicky Lopez just cannot get out as a member of the Braves. But San Francisco, they also had a big 5th inning. Look at how they ended the 5th inning, or at least the top of the 5th inning. There was a flip to the pitcher, then a flip to first base, and then there was a throw to home to nab Orlando Arcia at home. So that was a 3-1 4-2 double play, and then the offense immediately stepped up as well. That's an RBI, bases at a walk, and then Patrick Bailey, you sweet prince. This kid is as impressive as it gets for a young catcher. That's a 3-run double, his 16th double already, plus he's a defensive wizard. We kind of had a scary moment with Marcell Ozuna hitting a 2-run home run, but San Francisco, they got both of those runs back on doubles from Austin Slater as well as Thairo Estrada. So now it's a 3-run lead. Camilo Doval, who's been terrible lately, he wanted to remind folks who he is. 2 strikeouts, he has 34 saves, so the Giants, they beat the Braves 8-5. The only thing missing from this next clip is a plate of spaghetti. That was one of the biggest meatballs I've ever seen. Vladdy got a center cut changeup and smoked it 415 feet. He is the first member of the Blue Jays to 20 home runs, but here comes the Guardians. J-Ram, he ties it on a 2-run home run of his own. He has 21 home runs, 21 stolen bases, a 134 OPS plus, so he's J-Ram all over again. Andres, he showed off the leather again. He made that nice play just the day after doing this. Look at this behind the back throw in the game previously. Now, Andres, he wasn't done coming up clutch, but Toronto, they actually snatched the lead off of Noah Syndergaard. There's a Springer home run. Davis Schneider had a 2-run blast. By the way, this Schneider kid, that's 3 games in a row with the home run. He's hitting 432 with 5 home runs in his first 11 games. But yes, after that, Andres, he clutched up again. That 2-run double down the line put the Guardians up 1, and it's no longer a lead. We're going to need extras because Dalton Varsho, he ties it at 6-6, so more free baseball, and you can't make this up. Old man Jenkins, Cole Calhoun, he saved us again. I say us because I'm a Cleveland fan. He has 6 extra base hits and 11 RBIs in 17 games. And okay, Ramon, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and a near 600 on base percentage over his last 5 games. Emmanuel Clase got the W in this one, so the Guardians win the season series 4-3, but we do have some breaking news. After this game, the Guardians DFA Noah Syndergaard. He's throwing 92 to 93 on the fastball, terrible off-speed command. The Dodgers, they basically got Ahmed Rosario for free. Tampa Bay might be the only hope to see Thor again, and I don't know if that's even possible. Let's see what Baltimore had cooking against the Rockies, and they didn't do anything against starting pitcher Ty Black, who was doing his thing on the bump, and then his lineup got him the lead in the 4th inning. Brendan Rodgers had an RBI, and that was followed up by a Michael Toglia solo homer, and I really like Michael Toglia, by the way. Ty Black, he allowed 1 run the entire night on a Cedric Mullins home run. Hunter Goodman, who I just learned of his existence, he drove in the 3rd run for the Rockies, and Ty Black ended up striking out 7 Orioles over 7 innings. He only allowed 3 base hits, so he was crafty, and as soon as he left, Ryan O'Hearn, he yanked one out to tie it at 3-3, so no W for Ty Black. Ryan O'Hearn is hitting basically 300 with 11 home runs. Now, unfortunately, this game ends on a boring RBI groundout from the All-Star MVP Elias Diaz. He drove in Hunter Goodman, and Justin Lawrence, he got the W after striking out a few. So yeah, Baltimore, they only have a 2-game lead over the Rays for first place. This was a super easy game to recap. Mike Clevenger was at his best yet again. He tossed Oakland in a blender. Mike, he went out there and shoved for 7 innings of 1-hit baseball, and he racked up 10 punch outs along the way. He's throwing upper 90s, like 98 to 99. He has a 2.15 ERA over his last 9 starts. Moncada, he was a monster in this one. He went 4 for 4. He drove in 2 on that double. And yeah, the White Sox, they went easy over the A's 6-1. So like I just said, the Rays are 2 games back of the Orioles for first place in the AL East. We have the AL West, a super tight division. 1 game separates first and second place, but 3 teams are vying for first place right now. In the NL, the Braves have won 8 games in a row, so they're 4 games ahead of the Cubs, 6 games ahead of the Reds, and we don't have to talk about the NL West. In the wild card, things are not as hectic for the AL. We have the Rays, the Rangers, and the Astros as the top dogs. The Jays and the Red Sox are both within 5 games. In the NL, we have the Marlins at 3 games back. They gained a game on the Reds, but the Reds lost the game on the Giants, so they're now tied for 1.5 games back of the Diamondbacks, who keep on winning. Same with the Cubs. So yeah, the Phillies, the Cubs, and the Diamondbacks, they look like the front runners in the NL wildcard. So that does it for today's recap. No Mac at the grid today because I have some errands to run. I gotta go do them right now. So thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next one.